I think it's a train wreck. It's really toxicity. It's a cancer waiting to happen.
Mr. Adelson, when you say that it's not a money issue, there's part of it that has to be for you, but I still want to quote you some statistics here because I was looking at some research in Europe where online gambling is legal, and basically there's a 20% decrease in visitation and participation to land casinos. Right. Meaning that if there is online gambling, people go to casinos less. So that has to factor somewhere in, and a cynic would say, basically, you're just trying to protect your own land-based casinos.
First of all, let me tell you that my U.S. operations account this year for less than 10%, 5 to 7% of my total gross income and EBITDA. I mean, I do in my properties in Vegas $350 million. EBITDA, I do in one property in Macau or Singapore. In Singapore, last year we earned $1,650,000,000. It's 5 times what our property. It's 5 times what our property earns in the United States. We are not intending to get into it. I'm just telling you. Any skeptic could say that that money is the consideration. Money is not the consideration with me. If you just look at where I stand in Forbes rating as number 15 in the world, making $100, $200 million extra is not an incentive for me.
What about opportunity costs, Mr. A? Listen. Because there's $32 billion of revenue annually that's coming, and again, I'm just using Europe, where internet gambling is legal. $32 billion of annual revenue. Don't you want a piece of that?
No. No. I don't want it. I don't want a piece. It's not $32 billion and in Europe. If you want, we had a study done from 8 countries from one of the leading gaming researchers in the world. And I could tell you that what do you do with a kid that either underage or of age? How about kids that owe $1 trillion in student loans? It's very easy for them to get pressured by peers to go and gamble while they're drunk or they're doing drugs.
Is that different than land-based casinos, though, Mr. Adelson, honestly?
Of course it is.
In what way? But
in land-based casino, we don't know land-based casino, whether it's us or Harris or now Caesars, would allow somebody that's out of control with themselves to sit and gamble.
But, I mean, there's free drinks served. I mean, there's not a lot of attention paid to, let's say, sunlight. I mean, there's a lot of ways that people...
But one thing for sure. If an adult gets stressed, gets in the car, contacts friends, goes to a place, they have a buffet, they go bowling and they play for a couple of hours and the slots are on tables and they enjoy themselves as entertainment. This is not dressing in your birthday suit, taking your computer into bed, either underage kids that get set up by of-age kids, and they play until they lose all their money. I believe that poker and other forms of gaming, poker particularly, since it's considered a social activity and not gambling per se, kids will get up in the middle of the night if they can't sleep or they come home late and they challenge each other to say, let's play some poker or let's play some blackjack. They're going to lose.
So you're not going to make an exception then for poker because, to your point, poker is skills-based and actually players are playing against each other and not against a house.
That skill base is, in my opinion, just a bunch of baloney. The cards, to get a card, it's not skill-based. I know people say it's skill-based, but it's just so they could categorize it in a certain category, in a certain segment.
So you would never make an exception for poker?
Absolutely not. Look, I'm a citizen. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I don't want my children... I'm a veteran of the Korean War. I don't want my children to have opportunity to become addicted to gaming. And poker, in my opinion, would be one of the most addictive games, because people don't get addicted to necessarily playing blackjack. They get addicted to game. It's one of the many compulsive behaviors, and if somebody is addicted to gaming, they're addicted to some other compulsive behavior. Can you tell me one good reason why internet gaming should be allowed?
Well, the fact that it is a creator. There's a lot of people who say with states' tax revenues being lower, that online gaming would actually bring in revenue to some states that desperately need it. Yeah,
but you can also make the argument for legalizing heroin and cocaine and prostitution, and you can legalize creating a lot of sin taxes so that the government could earn money.
Mr. Adelson, what about it being the wave of the future? You're a pioneer, of course. You basically created Las Vegas, especially as far as the convention-based model goes. We have many in Silicon Valley that are supporting online gaming, that are preparing themselves for this to be legal in this country. You have the MySpace co-founder, of course, Chris DeWolf, backing a gaming studio. He's received personal investments, personal money from the Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, from Google's chairman Eric Schmidt. What about the fact that everything we do now is mobile, is more accessible, and that internet gambling, internet gaming, mobile especially, is just the next logical step for the business?
Well, why don't we say that other sins, crime, mugging, thievery, we'll try to make that mobile too, simply because everything is mobile. And what makes Jeff Bezos and Eric Schmidt a lot smarter and a lot more experienced than me? I've got 68 years of being in business. 68 years, and I've created over 50 businesses and never failed in one. My last two businesses, I've recreated the trade show industry worldwide. I've recreated the hotel and gaming industry worldwide with the concept of integrated resorts. Look, I've got enough money. I don't need any more money. Being the 15th richest man in the world out of 7 billion certainly doesn't give me an incentive to go out and make a few $100 million more.